I wouldn't be able to.
Recording. This is Tai Chi Biomechanics of Optimal Flow, class number 2. We're doing our Zoom trial run. And any questions from last week before we get started?
No. Yeah. I'm sure something will come up.
Okay, so I think we'll do probably about 20 minutes of walking, and then we'll do maybe 20 minutes of the form, and we'll get into some new material. And my friend bought me a pole, mostly for martial arts with the staff, but it's actually it was very good timing because it's going to be very important for our what we bring in for the form.
Cool.
So good. So I guess, yeah, with the walking, we'll just walk. I think
You can see us.
and so actually, I think we got the whole room. So
yeah, that's amazing. That's a wide angle on your. Yeah, that's really good.
So yeah, and I've wiped the screen so I can project outwards because it always somehow. And so yeah, we always. I think the main focus we always, at least in this course, is to be totally present in the body. And we do that through a number of ways. Again, a nice even pace. I'm not sure if you got the music. You don't need the music.
I got it, but I didn't.
Yeah. And then the first thing is the placement. So we're not on a tightrope, but we're setting out just about the width. We always start forward, shifting the weight, then shift.
That will come up
so here, it's generally the back foot is staying rooted in the foot, right?
Yeah, but I have to do this.
Oh, yeah, so not yet. So this is all we want to stay very flat and rooted until we're accentuating the balance. Well, so yeah, I mean, for the. Yeah, no, we do want to do it too. It's different exercise for your. Gotta do this, but keep it in mind for when you get bored of couple of weeks down the road. Then there is a version where you picking up the foot totally flat, then you're putting it down, so everything hits at the same time, and everything lifts at the same time, and that's another awareness. But that's not what
Okay.
so here, it's, the point is, we really like all of our weights here, and I could, it's kind of like, there's a, yeah, so we got to move on, we want to breathe. This is fine. And then.
Yeah, and sometimes I can find that I'm moving too quickly to the balance issue, right? Because I feel a little out of balance.
Yeah, well, and that's where maybe for you, emphasis, right? The one thing here is that you can start to feel it, and so that's again, use a stance, or you can, if you're stopping for it, and just so again, when you slow things down, it's a little bit of if you express the pose, that's then kind of spreading out the surface area, so that it activates there. And you can stay on the same box area.
Here it is.
And are you able to connect like extinct enough to like feel it in the hips, engage so something just make movement a little bit. Let's do something you can do is thinking. Yeah. It's, and that's really good problem. I just think lower. That makes sense. Let's just make it movement. And keep that as an idea for that. It, it doesn't super matter, to be honest. My tendency is I then want to put out first. Yeah, I don't want to. I still think these places that do differently, but a lot of companies, maybe it's like that, but enter the lab lectures.
You know, on Qigong, it's a bit more busy, starting to when you're turning your foot, when you're turning it out, you're not rocking all the way back.
I might, or I might not. I'm not like you mean 100% of the way back. Oh no, just enough
to be able to pick it up.
Yeah, it's a very subtle
Yeah.
Because obviously if I'm here, I can, but it's putting a bit more stress on the knee than I want. So if I can just lean back a little bit, it gives us a lot more.
All right, I've been going into like almost complete reverse bow, so I don't need to do that.
No, it'd just be enough to take the pressure off the knee. I mean, yeah, because otherwise,
right.
I mean, even you can just by sinking into the heel too a little bit. But that still typically means you have to back off just a little. on fits here, say that right, and that really has to be with which regions. There is a sense of this. It's moving, it's totally weightless. I think we jumped into it, but also I'm sure you're doing this already, but the other principles are, everything even keel, so whatever height you pick, you try to stay there. And then lines on the horizon. This doesn't really work out. But we did talk about those meditative eyes, almost open, it's almost like there's a little bit of engagement. That's optional. And then this idea, I think maybe, like I'll just describe in full concept. We're gonna be using this one. So like right now, front foot's empty, but then it's fuller from the floor. My back foot now it's almost empty. It's still now it's fuller. And then here I can keep some energy in it, but by the time it gets here, all of my energy is in this way. And here I'm like 0%. It should explain this. And then it's a transition point where I can start to fill out. And I can still extend through. This is where you can really luxuriate and get slow. I'm still extending this back way, keeping it engaged, even though it makes sense. 5 minutes. Continuing to stay engaged.
I've never on a balance being part of it. Here. It's supposed to drink down.
Still try having a little bit of a wider stance. It's still, still I think on, at least on when you're stepping on this side, the foot tends to come in, so you're more on that road, and so it's still.
Okay.
I think that's maybe will create a little bit more stability. And also one thing that, and this doesn't always help, it certainly makes it more challenging, is you can, with a bit of a wider stance, that allows you to sink a little bit lower, kind of, so that you feel it more in this area. So it is going to be a bit more of a workout, but it's also going to at least provide that you'd be a bit closer to the ground.
I don't have to take the step isn't so far this way, but I'm taking it wider as opposed to.
Yeah. So
Both feet are turned out. Forward position.
Last thing that has been engaged is that breathing will kind of sink lower abdomen. This time you're at the optimal level of engagement. And then, yeah, the arms, obviously, all sorts of things you can do. Really just having them lightly engaged. The armpits open, bringing up all those nerves, Good. It's like you got the wider positioning. Does that feel?
That actually helps balance a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the one aspect is you are just doing something challenging,
Right.
but then if you're on
A
obviously
tightrope.
the tightrope,
Yeah.
and it's easy if we're not, especially in the beginning, if we're not like actively watching.
Oh, yeah.
That's why that's, step one is really.
Right. So not watching, but thinking about where your foot is going is an interesting, exercise, as it were.
Yeah, well, and I do think, obviously when you're in the flow, I think I think you should always have a part of your practice where you're not like,
Yeah.
that's where the benefit is. But I do think it's good, in the beginning, you might need that feedback, visual feedback.
Right,
So
that
say a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's where it's like you have to think actively
Yeah.
and put forth effort, and then it's like you get to a place where you don't have to put in effort.
And that whole thing about consciousness of where your body is, it's a consciousness without thinking. Like I'm not trying to think, oh, here's my foot. I'm just trying to sense it. So, does that make sense?
Yeah, no, keep on going. You have more to say.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Yeah, because you're starting like, you started from like yes, this is I mean, there's that, but of course that's usually been reinforced in the beginling by some level of feedback. So,
right.
but then it's like, how does that feel? And remember that.
Yeah. Well, like I think I said last week, I had been counting, and I'm trying not to, that was a very conscious thing.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to just, and the music really is helpful, so now I'm gonna, now I
Yeah.
see how it paces you without having to count, without having to think. Yeah.
No, of course, yeah, I mean, I did emphasize every four
Mhm. Mhm.
exactly 60 beats per minute.
Yeah.
But, you know, but I did, I think I did cheat a little bit. I did put things into Google Drive folder, so that might be a free download.
Okay.
But I do, you know, the teachers, I think I wrote it all in the email. They're worth supporting.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just haven't gotten a chance to open them.
And then I did put my
Yeah.
caffeine and Tai Chi.
Yeah.
So that's worth
Reading.
Yeah, you know, it's just it's a nuance talk. And I'd say there's a more spiritual scientific aspect that I wrote on my website, and that links to the more scientific Western, which still is very holistic. Even when I was 22 writing it, it's still broad. How do you think about science? And I think that's, that's was what I was not happy with Western research, was all about the information. It's like there want to be good scientists thinking about the information. But anyways, this back to the Tai Chi. Good. So do we need like a 2-minute sit down, water?
I'm looking for it. Water's always good. So, can you tell me the relationship between Tai Chi and Qigong? They're from the same root. How are they connected? That's a big question.
Yeah, no, it's a good. It's actually it's a very simple answer. So Qi Gong.
Where are you? There you go.
There we go. Yeah, Qi Gong. Originally, let's farther out of the frame. Qi Gong is actually a newer term, but it means Qi work. Now, Gong Fu means time and effort, or also skill. So, like Kung Fu is the transliteration of Gong Fu. And you see things like Gong Fu Cha or Gong Fu Tea. So it's like a high level of Gong Fu teaching. But Qigong means to work the Qi. Originally, it was through the meridian pathways, and literally working with that energy. Now we can get into a whole talk on what the channels is a better translation. Are maybe they were a summary of the information of all the nerves, or they're independent things that are guiding biological activity, which is the Chinese view of it. I promise it's a simple answer, but Qigong literally just means Qi work. It applies to thousands of different kinds of exercise. You have different kinds of Qigong. Originally, the term was Daoyin, which also means to kind of guide and lead. So talking about the internal energy and learning how to guide that. And those exercises we have evidence of for thousands of years, whereas Tai Chi is a type of Qigong when practiced for health. Obviously, as a martial art, these elements of Qigong, since you're doing it very slowly for health.
Mhm.
But it also has a martial
Mhm.
intention to it.
Mhm.
And so that's where it's different.
Uh-huh.
So Qigong is purely
Oh, I see.
for health,
Health. Uh-huh.
whereas you have, Tai Chi
Uh-huh.
can,
Can be for martial.
yeah, and that's, yeah.
So I know that I took an introductory Qigong class once at a conference where the person talked a lot about what you're doing with your arms in terms of bringing up the chi and holding the chi and all of this kind of stuff, which I haven't heard either you talk about or even on the YouTubes that I've watched. They're not really talking about, but it's in my mind, like when I do whatever, that there it is.
Well, how do you feel it? So,
Yeah, I mean, I feel it here. And like when I do, for example, I think it's called owl, where it's just like this and then like that. Right? Oh, it's like electric. And like that seems like the simplest move. And I feel like a lot of energy from that particular move. So yeah.
so what's the question?
I don't know, it's just a comment.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, the chi is, I mean, it's why I got into Tai Chi. I'm like, I just want to feel the chi and to move it.
Yeah.
And of course, they say in the classics, don't get stuck in the sensations. Focus on the practice, and that's like cultivating the chi in a way that maybe you're using it for something else, feeling inspiration for your next big project or something. So.
There's the other thing is between each, when I'm doing the sobriquets, between each thing, again, from the video teacher, was to bring it in kind of like a closure before you do the next one. When I did that initial Qigong class, I left before the end because I had to go proctor something and I didn't bring it in. And someone sat next to me and she said, I can't sit next to you. Your energy field is whatever too big. And I thought, oh. And I didn't feel it, but she felt it.
Yeah, so that's where it's, and we're going to end with probably a couple minutes of sitting today. And I think that'll be every class, because that's, you stir things up, you want to let them settle. And even, at the end of the short form we're learning, and that's why, I sat down, okay, we can sit for a couple minutes and just let things settle. And that's actually, if that's not in the practice, there's something missing, because that's really like where you get a lot of benefit.
So I've been in my home practice standing, like finishing the practice, bringing in the chi, bowing in thanks to my teachers, ancestors, and myself. Again, this is all just I learned from that Qigong, but it made sense to me. But then I stand for a minute or whatever in a meditative.
That's okay too. I mean, any closure is good. I think.
But I mean, I could sit.
No, I think the point is just to have that closure. For me,
not to rush off and do the next thing. I
do think the sitting can be sometimes more powerful, because you're no longer engaging the legs, or it's like the corpse pose at the end of yoga. It's like really it's just went from engaged to not. But I also think you could close the practice and then still have your well, I don't know if you folks are
No, it's
practicing,
really
if you folks
interesting thing,
practice, so.
because so my morning pattern is to do my qigong, do whatever the one Tai Chi move that you taught, part of that form. Take my minute of kind of closure, and then I go on and do my other exercises. So I don't know if that makes good sense for energy flow or.
No, I think that's a beautiful, yeah. Yeah, no, I think the most important thing is just that closure. And then, yeah, it depends on the intensity of it, and if your legs need a break, it can be good to sit, or if you're like ready to.
Yeah, usually I go right into this one because I'm so focused on getting my balance.
Yeah. So, no, I think that's good. That's actually really good with we talked about sit, stand, move, sit, stands. That's just a great longevity principle.
Okay, cool.
Good. Well, I think I'm glad, I know since you asked good questions, it's always nice to get a, recording. There's a secret teaching. So, I think we'll go through the form and the new material, and then I'll probably either set up your phone, just go right at the end, and just or I'll have you.
But this is recorded.
So. Yeah, this is recording.
Yeah.
I can always cut it, but sometimes it's nice to.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yes.
Okay. At least we've got it. Well, I'll try and I'll make a little. You'll have it. So I don't know. Maybe there's a better.
Yeah, technology to use.
Yeah, Facebook isn't super sense. Okay. So let's. Yeah. 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 Then, but you can do this. I do like to. And then settle and just do fast. And this is not. This is more for the really kind of the center. It's not for the one. All of the wheels, this, and then very sadly, that's why direct is. Yeah. Here and this was the plan to be learning today. We want to have a good meeting. So you're good. It's really
And what's that?
Yeah, that's the. Yeah, the super investors, there is an option that's the extra attention, but 30% of that, but it can still be active. We can cut it out. But it can still be generated. More important is. Yeah, and then there. X, and so what the X, just for this. Yeah. That's maybe one. Yeah, so what is that now?
So you could one. Point.
I can be from the beginning, you know, it's just going to be stationary, just sense. Yeah. There's, you know, on my backs, not going to hear it. It's more, it's around the second. I think because if anything, it's like this, but at the very, it's like mostly straight out and down. It's still curvature because we're opportunities are wrapping in the fields.
And then let's go to the paper shoulder.
Yeah. You can go just in the middle of it. It's your own. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, there's I guess that's so my hands are yeah, just a little bit.
We have to go down and sink a little bit.
Yeah, so there's the thinking and then there's those together actually. It's last moment is still running. That's the stuff. We I just say that last that was it and more to notice it. And this thing definitely changed depending on the face you go. I'll think that the movement is more important than the reading. But what tends to be an after effect is that you're coming up, you're in it, and as you come down, it's stress. But it doesn't happen. More. So here's where we going to start on the left. And we're gonna get into this, it's called a pulse. My hip, knee, shoulder, and ankle are in the same line. And my hips are quick. So this is probably the most challenging part. And to discredit much better thinking actually, they don't actually, they get lazy with this piece of, and so there's something missing from the engagements. And mind you, it's a lot harder. So it could be that people would just give up and get frustrated about the class. So there's that piece too, but it is important that the hips stay clear. So it's supposed to be. And this is why I brought the post. So that's
No, most of my reason.
so we want to run evenly distributed. Okay. So you win. Yeah. And then, good. And then what tends to happen with the back is it gets all crunchy. So like this is where you might try. I would maybe you don't need to do this down and then up down alignment, but yeah, you can sink a little bit and that'll area. That obviously makes it a lot more challenging. And I'd say that becomes discouraging, just focus more on getting the basics of it. And I think that's really, so long as we're out and moving in balance, it's more important than smaller. Although, if we want to like get yeah, we don't have to go to this.
Yeah, no, but it's a good thing to know about.
Yeah, so like I said, this is good. We've got to get a feeling that way. It feels right.
Yeah.
Now we're going to turn it back.
Yeah.
That's
And what's her name? No,
height.
it is.
What's the other person saying?
Heidi will be easier for me to remember because I volunteer at the secondhand rose just and her name's also Heidi.
Oh. Okay, that's Moon Mountain Highway.
No, well, it's next door. No, it's next door.
Oh.
It's the Wagat stores. I think they're making it smaller. They're not going to be over the 70s. I was doing something modern. It's a great place to shop.
Well, I just got my family.
Oh.
That's the only way it is. Okay, that's, so this basic posting. And yeah, I think the one thing that can happen is our knees can kind of either go too far forward. And yeah. And
You don't want your knee over your toe, you want
you know, when they teach this, they say you want the knee directly with the center of the foot.
it.
And I think that is,
But I think you can go down too far, because you go, you go, more forward than you go.
yeah, unless you're like here. But you know, I think what's probably the more important thing to do, I think there's a certain level of, especially when you're doing different type of forms, that you're in a constant the whole time. I think most important is, you know, is paying attention so that we're grasping on the feet. And that's where spreading out the feet, and noticing the hips, kind of like the hips forward. But it's, yeah, it's certainly, if you just want the absolute safest recommendation, then you stay here, just if you can. Yeah, and then when you think about engaging the hips, it's just a lot gentler, you're not sinking so so yeah, it's definitely, yeah, you don't want too much trust.
And then, the online I was watching, was talking about, with the outsides of your feet being parallel.
Yeah,
So
so
that your toes actually feel like they're pointed in.
yeah, so that's there's even more exact guidance. That's yeah, that's like the 90% guidance. Most exact is like, is it this is where the gallbladder channel is? It comes up to the foot. So that ideally that is parallel with the other foot. Okay. But if that's
Yeah,
then just outside the feet, that gets you.
it gets close.
Yeah, that's good enough. I thought about this, actually.
But it does feel different than being like this. Definitely. When you focus and say, okay, fire the outside.
Yeah. So that's, yeah, what we want. In that end. Yeah, and then now we're gonna introduce things. So there's and then the hands are almost so going to be the center on them. So here the now is even on the hips just where the front. Starting like upper body out. So, and we can get as conservative or sometimes it takes a while that or exciting movements to go. And then so yeah, most of the time, if you're persuading this, the post is the first thing to go. So it can be good to just practice that first, and then, you know, after a few goes, introduce the arms. Let's see, setting it in a post.
And then the bottom turns down.
Yeah, so it's let's see this. I'm not post, maybe the gesture is gathering the water, or gathering, I guess I should start. So I'm gathering the water, so it's the last in,
Mhm.
and then I'm putting out the fire, or gathering the fire.
Mhm.
And then mixing, and then and then that should happen to my elements, and then here is the column of the metal. And this is the bottom energy. Yeah, water and nature. Here, then most important, those things, here, and here it's all doing things, and I'm doing this, right?
Mhm.
And then I'm tracking the center line until I get to my posts.
Mhm.
Um, posts. Lost. Yeah, keep moving. And then so there's the, so there's so there's gonna be you'll figure out how to make it flow
Mhm.
as you practice.
Mhm.
There's stuff. Price, or the upper body, things. Yeah, and hands always
Mhm.
for the center. And Probably stirring up the fire. I think in my mind, they're only gonna do 20 minutes. And got get your top academics. So this is the 5 elements to go with directions, organ systems, everything. Practice. So wood rises, springtime energy, falls, fall, fall, and then energy, water, left, northern direction, which is not north now, and then southern direction is fire. Center is in the earth. Just try sitting. You know what I mean? At all? Closing.
I don't know if that's been recorded. See how it comes up.
Yeah. 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 So I'll. Yeah. Probably. I mean, it might not be anything fancy with an intro or just give them a footage, and certainly. Yeah, it would be something that could be listened to while driving, or, or ideally in one practice session as a kind of a review. And I think we should, if you want to just either I can set up my phone, if you want to just film me, I think we can get that.
So you're gonna just go through that particular thing.
Yeah, that's just
That's
hopefully no more than a few minutes.
Yeah.
Thanks.
What are the symbols on your?
These are the 5 elements,
Uh-huh.
or the 5 phases. that
Only 4
we're
there.
So the center is the earth.
Oh,
So you've got the one thing they screwed up here was the directions.
Mhm.
But metal in the west,
Mhm.
and the water in the north, and then wood in the east,
Mhm.
and then fire in the
Mhm.
south, and then earth in the center,
Mhm.
sometimes southwest, because earth is kind of like that.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's the yeah, they can, as a separate season, it's late summer when things are fruiting.
Mhm.
It's the time of abundance. But as its own, yeah, it's also technically they have an 18-day transition between seasons, and it's also
Mhm.
from a scholarly perspective here. But most stuff. So and then yeah, this is my you got a teacher coming.
Uh-huh.
The day she said, one is possible spirits.
So did you read that to all the students?
Yeah, this was a part of, so if I ever
Mhm.
teach their lineage, which is probably, if I were to teach any
Mhm.
lineage, it's probably the most
Mhm.
practical of all, like where it's very organized, and it's very good for health. And it teaches the science of the seasons. And I might be giving out these coins myself.
Oh.
This was the initial 200 hours certification. It started more program. But there's just so many new exercises.
I don't want to thank you.
So
Yeah, that's good.
yeah,
Let me see how it looks. You ever get this? Just go to stand there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then of course you have the dragon tiger and then the Tao or the way in between. That's the harmony of opposites. And the one way appears. It's the same thing with the 3, and the 2, and the 1. Anyways, it's all future talk. So, yeah. So this is this is the continuation of last week. Last week we started with a form. Triggering the right hand. Again, it's starting to relax. Knees slightly bent, triggering the right hand, but sinking like a hole in the earth. The we're stepping out on the left. We're just finding that on balls and foot feels, trying to find the spot right in the center. Yeah, should be right, left, and then I just would feel the movement as I lift. I'm sinking all the way to the heels, elbow, the heel section. Pulling the hands pull back, the rest of these move forward, and then as the hands go down and sink slightly. Now here I'm posting, this is the new vocabulary, which is it's actually a little bit challenging. So I'm posting on the left side, and my shoulder, hip, and ankle, the inside of my shoulder, hip, ankle are all in one line. And as I hit onto this side, I'm making sure my hips aren't wiggling side to side, that they're staying square forward. And then my knee is not too far over my toes, more in the center. So here we're posting, then we're going to post to the other side. And again, something that can happen is our back kind of wants to wiggle out, and we want to keep that straight up and down. So that's something that's easily forgotten, but that engages the whole hip girdle. And then so we're posting. We want to just practice that. We probably have to look the first few times to get that feedback. Hip, knee, and ankle all in one line. And then, yeah, we're going to have the hands. So, starting on the left, posting, and then yes. So we're gathering, and then this is the left hand, your left. And then the hands stay in the center line. But I probably could edit this. So now we're here, we're posting on their left. And my hands come out on the center line, and then up. My time is always more than 3 minutes. So again, from that opening,
Let's start and you're gonna have to bring this way. When it's going to be about what that would be better. And you can add these two together. Go through the whole thing, just doing this, like one small thing, it's on a slow, maybe slower than you might normally.
Yeah. Good, yeah, and I think the one thing that probably still didn't demonstrate well is my upper, I'm still a little bit stiff in my shoulders, whereas that ideally warmed up, that should be, of course, I'm isolating for the teaching, but you know, when it's more fluid, there's a sense of everything is less chunky and there's a bit more of a, you know, it's this.
I know, she, for
idea
the,
of
for the
everything's
Qigong, for the April cave, she talks about it being silken movements, and that really helps me to think about, you know, when I was first practicing it, everything was very separate. And now I feel that things, one goes into the next, and that's really helpful.
Yeah.
But that takes time.
Yeah, it does. And warming up.
Yep.
So let's